Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's session, Embedding Project Management in the Cultural Sector. Before I start, I'm going to introduce myself briefly. I'm Mikhael, a manager in KPMG. I have more than 9 years of experience in project management, earned a DBA in project management, double masters in project management and business development, and I had the honor to have a publication in the project management journal related to PMO. Feel free to check it. So, in today's agenda, we're gonna be having an introduction about cultural sector, importance of project management, challenges, also best practices, adopting 6 E's pillars in cultural sectors, and lessons learned. The cultural sector is a significant employer worldwide. Let's take an example, the USA. The arts and cultural sector employed more than 5.5 million employees and contribute more than $1 trillion, around 4.3% of the nation's GDP. In 2016, the Saudi Arabian government launched the Vision 2030, a plan to diversify the economy and reduce dependency on oil. Since then, the cultural sector in Saudi Arabia has undergone significant changes. So here are some key points about the cultural sector in Saudi Arabia. In the past few years, worldwide heard about the events and cultural events happening in Saudi Arabia. We can mention Riyadh season, the Janadariya heritage and cultural event, the Saudi Coffee Day, Jeddah festivals, and many more. Also, the Saudi government has invested heavily in the cultural infrastructure by building museums, galleries, and cultural events. In 2018, the Ministry of Culture has launched the first digital data bank. In 2020, also, Ministry of Culture launched the Quality of Life initiatives. This initiative is helping new professionals in cultural sector to transform their ideas to real projects. Also, this initiative is taking part in the education sector while embedding master classes and workshops in high schools and universities. Why project management is important and why it is important in the cultural sector. So, cultural projects are complex, lack of resources. We all know that the majority of cultural projects are funded by the government. So as a project management team, our role to measure and capture and report the measurement of the progress in each project to deliver on time and with the allocated budget. That's the transparency and accountability point here. Risks need to be addressed. Interdependency must be managed. And adding structure to creativity. Please, guys, focus on this word, creativity. It is very important to remember it during our show. So we can see in front of us, it's 8 challenges in any project management. Let's go through them quickly. We have interdependencies. We have competing priorities. We have budget overruns, quality management. We have also resistance to change and techniques, lack of skills and knowledge, resistance to change, and technical difficulties. Now everyone is asking himself, how this is different than other sectors? Why? So I'm gonna tell you why and how. Those challenges is affecting the cultural sector big time because project managers, while working in the cultural field, they are dealing with people, professionals, that they are curators, artists, filmmakers, film writers, people that has no idea maybe about project management. They are far away about project management. And their priority is to finalize their piece of art, their piece of work, not a project charter or a Gantt chart or KPIs assessment. Their aim is to focus on their own job. And for them, maybe project management tools and techniques, it's hectic and adding and losing time while working on their projects. So this is why project management faces such difficulties in the cultural sector, especially that cultural projects are complex, as we mentioned in the earlier slide. And it is complex because the wide range of stakeholders working in this sector. It's not a construction field or industry field where people have some knowledge about project management. No, it is a field that has no limits, and it is a field that is not restricted to tools and techniques. While working in the cultural sector, some best practices have been initiated, and we recognize them. So let's go through some of the best practices embedding project management in the cultural sector. It is very important to have a clear project goals and objectives and matrix. This is how we know that professionals and project managers are working together toward the same objectives. And this can help to build understanding and the buy-in also. For me and for many project managers in the cultural field, one of the best key points is providing trainings and education to culture professionalism on project management principles and technique. This can help to build understanding and buy-in for project management. Also, it is very important to pay attention to identifying, understanding, and managing the interdependencies between projects, departments, and external stakeholders. Because as we mentioned, cultural projects are complex. So we end up with three things: leadership, investment, and commitment to continuous learning and improvement. These best practices can help to build project management maturity in the cultural sector. So we remember at the beginning of our speech, I mentioned the word creativity. So creativity and success. Let's watch this video together. بس شغل الفيديو حبيبي. So what we see in front of us is the contemporary art. No? Okay. What we see in front of us is the first contemporary art biennale happening in the Middle East. It happened in the Dar'iyya in 2020-22. This is creativity, guys. Let's see creativity. We're seeing creativity in front of us, and it's a successful project. That's why I mentioned the word creativity at the beginning of our session. So creativity and project management. Sometimes we hear and we think that these two words they don't complement each other. No, they complement each other. And project management will lead us to a successful creativity with limits. Because if we don't have limitation, we'll exceed and we'll ruin our budget, we will ruin our timeline. So creativity, project management complement each other. Here are some, let's say, strategies and pillars we worked on in KPMG while adopting cultural projects. We call them the 6 E's pillar. We have encourage creativity. Project manager, they should encourage creativity while working with professionals. We have embrace agility. We need to be aware of any changes in the cultural project anytime during the work. Enable planning and stakeholder engagement. Empower resources and facilitate them to the professionals. And why not provide them with SMEs sometimes? It is needed to have a successful project. Establish clear goals and objectives. Again, goals, objectives, creativity, they work together always. Extend collaboration and communication, and this will lead to help to generate new ideas and encourage creativity. So this combination of the 6 E's, what will make your cultural project successful. Those 6 E's are not far away from the 5 processes of project management and PMI. We all know the 5 processes: initiating, planning, execution, monitoring, controlling, and closing. So how the 6 E's are embedded in the 5 processes? Encourage creativity. The project manager, while working with the filmmaker, let's take an example, he needs to clarify very well and in details what's the scope of the film, where we're going, and this one is taking place in the initiating phase. Let's go to the planning. Same example, project manager working with the filmmaker. We need to identify the scope, transform it to a goal by a plan, a specific plan. And always we need to be ready working in agility. Enable planning and stakeholder engagement. We mentioned that cultural projects are complex, so wide range of stakeholders, and this is managed by a stakeholder communication plan. And the execution, guys, we're gonna come back again to the creativity word. Creativity, it's not ABC. It's not limited by a theory, no. It's a way of thinking, and way of thinking of professionals in the cultural sectors has no limits. So we need to be very careful as a project manager while working in a cultural sector to have a certain limitation for creativity, just not to exceed and go further of time and budget. And this is embedded in the monitoring and controlling to make sure that we're achieving our goals and achieving our objectives within the allocated budget and timeline. Let's go again, closing, encourage creativity. But this time, we're not encouraging creativity, we're celebrating creativity by the achievement of the project, or let's say the art piece of any professional working in the cultural sector. We are celebrating with them by ending up with a successful project with the timeline and the budget allocated. This is success, this is creativity, this is a project management. We had the honor to work and lead successful project and cultural project in Saudi Arabia. We can mention the contemporary art Binali, the Islamic art Binali happened in Jeddah, Ignite Festival, Red Sea Festivals, and many more. And we cannot stop counting. The cultural sector is booming in Saudi Arabia. And to make this booming successful, we need project management. It will not happen alone. So, let's end it up and sum it up. Cultural sector, project management, 2 hands, similar goal, successful projects. To have successful cultural project, we need to following the best practices and strategies that can help to overcome those challenges that we're facing, and we're gonna keep facing, and we might have new challenges in the future. Establishing and providing training and education to our professionals will make the cultural sector professionals mature enough to adapt project management. And this is how we call it successful project and creative project. Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the session. Feel free for any questions.